Amplifying Your Voice in Your Career, Community, and Personal Life. It's a new book that is out with tips on how to speak with moxie in those areas. Author Alexia Vernon is here to talk about Step Into Your Moxie. She's got a book signing tonight at Warwick's that we'll talk about. Welcome, nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So what's this all about, Step Into Your Moxie? What does that mean?
The premise is that when you are able to step into your moxie, you're able to walk into any room or onto any stage and unapologetically speak up for yourself, for the ideas and issues that matter most to you, and know that when you speak, people will take action on your ideas.
So people say, she's got moxie, or he's got moxie.
It doesn't have to be gender specific.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that you have, on occasion, focused on females not having enough moxie, or that the way that they speak doesn't quite compare to the way men do in presentations, and sometimes that's an unequal assessment of their value.
That we tend to evaluate what good speaking looks like based on a masculine paradigm, meaning having a lot of volume, projecting confidence, taking up space, which is great if that's your natural speaking style, but there's other ways to have impact other than following that model.
That's really interesting. You have several things that you talk about when you present for your book. One of them is interesting. You say, play nicely with the sensation that comes up when you speak. What does that mean, the sensation?
Yes.
Like nerves?
When it feels like there's a colony of butterflies that are flapping their wings in your stomach, that's what I'm referring to. Most of us would label that fear, but that's the wrong thing to do. Because the minute we do that, we start to play small. But if you think about any moment when you are on the cusp of doing something big or saying something big, you probably had that feeling. And we want to use that as an invitation to step into our moxie rather than to retreat.
You know, I've never analyzed that, but, you know, I'm on camera every day. I speak to, you know, tens of people.
Oh, I think it's a little bit more than that.
But when I get in front of an audience, it's a much different vibe, and I get a little nervous, and I think to myself, can I deliver what I am expected to deliver based on who I am and what I do, and are they going to be interested in what I have to say? So a little bit of that self-doubt can be good, but you're right, you rise to the occasion.
Exactly.
And you deliver. And
you recognize that most people are conspiring for your success. So the invitation is to connect more with them rather than to assume they're evaluating whether I'm doing a good job. That's not what most people are seeking to do.
Another thing you talk about is reverse engineering. Tell me about that. How does that work?
Usually we begin our communication by thinking about what am I going to say, and then what's the next thing I'm going to say. And as my 5-year-old would say, spoiler alert, that is the wrong thing that we want to do. Instead, we want to figure out where do we want to be by the end of a conversation or presentation or negotiation, and reverse engineer from there so that everything we're saying is actually moving the conversation in the right direction. Isn't
it interesting now, with all the technology that we have in the world, that people are like the TEDx talks, TED Talks. People are listening to other people just talk. It's not technology, it's just one-on-one conversation, or one with a group or one with an audience. Tell me about the dynamic of that, and why do you think we need that?
Most of us are hungry for real, authentic connection, which a TED Talk is a perfect example of. We are not wanting always the fanciest message, or we don't want to feel like we're sold to. We want people to really speak heart to heart.
Not talk down to.
And not talk down to us either.
Yeah, because I get that a lot as well, that you don't want, and now this happens to me, and I think it's just my, there's so much stuff inside here that I forget what I'm going to say or what I want to say, and I stop and I pause and look around the audience, and then I go, and you actually just talk about that in your book.
That's a good thing. Yes. So that's one of my favorite tips in Step Into Your Moxie. It is recognizing that in any moment, if your brain and your mouth are out of alignment, you can stop, you can smile with your mouth and with your eyes and hold. And that will weed out all the vocalized thinking, the ums, the you knows, the likes, the so's. And usually if you're speaking to an audience, whether it's an audience of one or a much larger group, people will lean in because they will assume if you're holding silence that you're about to say something really important. So it's a win for you in terms of giving you that moment to recalibrate, and it's a win for the audience who feels that connection.
Well, the book is called Step Into Your Moxie. Alexia, thanks so much for being here.
You're
going to be at Warwick's tonight at Bookstore at 7:30 p.m. Be sure to check her out if you're interested in putting some moxie in your life.